You've got a massive goal. You have the ambition. But when it's time to start, what happens? Your phone glows. Your mind wanders. You check the news for 5 minutes, and suddenly 2 hours are gone. You feel lazy, broken, and like you have a motivation problem. Stop. I'm here to tell you that's a lie. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a dopamine management problem. Your brain isn't wired to work hard anymore. It's wired for instant reward. And this modern-day addiction to easy pleasure is secretly destroying your ability to focus on the things that actually matter. This isn't weakness, it's neuroscience. The popular term is dopamine detox. But what if I told you the real detox isn't about miserable deprivation? It's about a simple 3-step psychological framework that resets your entire reward system, allowing you to finally crave the high-value work, the challenging goals, and the discipline that leads to peak performance. Stay with me, this changes everything. Let's quickly define the enemy. Dopamine is often called the pleasure molecule, but that's misleading. It's the anticipation molecule. It's the neurological drive that makes you want to seek, chase, and pursue. Before the internet, we chased difficult, high-value rewards like finding food or building shelter. The dopamine release was tied to effort. Now, imagine your brain has a dopamine threshold, a minimum bar of excitement required for a task to be worthwhile. Every TikTok video, every notification, every sugary snack is a massive, instant dopamine hit, like pouring a gallon of sugar into your reward center. This raises your threshold so high that when you look at a high-value task, say, writing a 3,000-word report, your brain looks at it, measures the low, slow trickle of dopamine and says, nope, insufficient. Go back to scrolling. This is the low-value versus high-value paradox that causes procrastination. So, a true dopamine detox isn't about suffering. It's about resetting that threshold. We're going to make the hard work feel easy again by using 3 specific psychological techniques. The 3-step Rewire Framework. Step 1, the friction firewall, the block. Our first step is implementing the friction firewall. The psychological principle here is simple, the anti-procrastination equation. You must make high-value tasks easier and low-value tasks harder. We do this by changing our environment, not our willpower. Story example. Think of Maria, a brilliant coder who couldn't start her projects. She would open her laptop and immediately get sucked into YouTube tutorials. The solution wasn't finding more motivation, it was friction. She bought a $15 lockbox with a timer, put her phone and her laptop charger inside for 4 hours, and locked the key in a different room. The friction became so high that her brain chose the slightly less painful path, just start the coding project. Action items. Move your phone to another room, or use an app blocker that requires a complex password, high friction. Decrease friction for work. Have your coffee and notes ready the night before. Open the single file you need to start and close all other tabs. Step 2, the reward reassociation, the swap. The biggest myth is that work and pleasure must be separate. This step is about bridging the gap between the pain of work and the reward your brain seeks. We call this temptation bundling. You are attaching an immediate high dopamine reward to a low dopamine activity. This builds the discipline loop. For instance, I hated folding laundry. It felt like pure psychological drudgery. But I love listening to my favorite trashy true crime podcast. I made a rule. I am only allowed to listen to that podcast while I am folding clothes. Now, when laundry piles up, my brain doesn't see a chore, it sees the key to its next true crime fix. Action items. Bundle exercise. Only allow yourself to watch your favorite Netflix show while you're on the treadmill or doing bodyweight circuits. Micro rewards. After completing a 25-minute Pomodoro cycle of deep work, give yourself a small, pre-planned reward, a 5-minute walk outside, or savoring a perfect square of dark chocolate. This trains your brain to associate discomfort with immediate gratification. Step 3, the moment of resistance to win. This is the most crucial psychological step. You've set up the environment and you've bundled the rewards, but you still hit that wall. The moment of resistance, the overwhelming feeling of, I just don't want to. This is where most people fail. You need to deploy the 5-minute rule or the do something principle. The goal isn't to finish the task, it's to lower the psychological barrier to 0. I once had a huge, overwhelming presentation to build. I kept resisting. I told myself, I don't have to build the whole presentation. I just have to open the file and type the title slide. That was it. 5 minutes of commitment. 90% of the time, that 5 minutes of momentum turned into 45 minutes of productive work. Because once you're in motion, the brain stops resisting and the focused dopamine starts flowing. Cognitive restructuring. The next time that resistance hits, don't argue with it. Acknowledge the urge to distract yourself, but immediately rephrase the command. I don't have to write the report, I just have to write the first sentence. That tiny win is your true dopamine detox. Action items. Break it down, never start a task. Start a single, tiny, defined next step, physical resistance counter. When the urge to open an app hits, don't fight it. Use that kinetic energy to do 10 seconds of stretching or 5 quick push-ups. It uses the energy of the urge for something productive. For the long-term discipline plan, the biggest mistake people make is treating the detox as a crash diet. Peak performance requires sustainability, and that means managing your breaks. I call this the recovery principle. You need active recovery, not passive recovery. Passive recovery is mindless scrolling, binge-watching, or gaming. It keeps your dopamine threshold artificially high. Active recovery is focused, low-stress engagement. Reading a physical book, spending time in nature, painting, or listening to music without doing anything else. It gives your brain a true rest while allowing the dopamine threshold to naturally lower, making the next work session more effective. Schedule this in. Your brain is a muscle, and we've given you the tools to train it. The best way to lock in this Rewire framework is by starting today. Your challenge. For the next week, choose one high-value task you've been avoiding and commit to the 5-minute rule every single day. Track those wins in a journal. Don't worry about the results of the work. Just worry about showing up. To recap, we're not fighting a battle of willpower. We're resetting a psychological system. Use the friction firewall to block temptation, use reward reassociation to make work appealing, and win the moment of resistance by committing to just 5 minutes. If you're ready to stop feeling lazy and start becoming the most focused version of yourself, hit that like button and subscribe